You have reached the public service. Ask yourself one question. Are you a taker or a maker? As with any situation in life, is your situation taking or making you happy? Well, good evening, good morning, and good afternoon, depending on where you are in the world. This is the Public Service Show, and I'm Sandra.
And I'm Kirk. Hello.
And it's almost Christmas time, so we have something a little festive on. This is...
I don't jingle.
I know.
Jingle.
This is a continuation from a previous show that we did called 7 Deadly Sins. And this is our part 2. We were going to move on to another show, but we didn't feel like we went over the material for the first show enough, or we felt we needed to add more to it. So here we are.
Yes.
And
here we are.
Yes. So, as a mother, I wrote some poems for a mother and a father. Just a small outline of how I feel parents should treat their children. And here I go. A mother's promise. To bring you forth as gently as possible. To comfort and protect you, to provide and nurture you. Love is my only tool.
A father's promise to be with you the minute you first take your breath, to comfort and protect you, to provide and nurture you. Love is my only tool.
Right. In a perfect world, we would all have the same tools, but some of us are different. And we have a little history here from a psychologist, and Kirk will guide us with it.
So this is some information that was published in 1975,
right,
by Susan Brown Miller.
That's correct.
Published a book called Against Our Will. And she says rape is not a crime of irrational, impulsive, uncontrollable lust, but is a deliberate, hostile, violent act of degradation and possession on part of the would-be conqueror or rapist. Now, let's use that word. Designed to intimidate and inspire fear. She wanted rape to be eliminated through a socio-political change in the same way lynching, a once thriving practice, has been thus eliminated. In other words, to surmise that, she wants rape to be so socially unacceptable that most normal human beings would not be doing it.
Right. And again, like we said in our first show, just about every woman knows a woman that's been raped. But ask men and they know no rapist.
Yeah,
I find that very interesting, that a lot of men are incapable of verbalizing the fact that their sex is extremely abusive and harmful. Not all of them. To women, children, boys, all of us. And yet, they know no one that's doing it.
And they always seem to get away with it, too. I mean, how often do you hear about, this is what's going on right now, the whole Epstein. How many people are actively trying to protect rapists?
And let's use the right words here. pedophiles.
Pedophiles. That's
Children.
right.
They have a flavor for children very young. And I'm noticing in the press they're saying women and some of the press. But here, if you're under the age of 18, as far as I'm concerned, you're not capable of consenting. These are grown, wealthy men that bought these girls under the pretext of what I understand of making like $300 to give somebody a massage. And instead, they ended up a meal to, you okay there? A meal to a pedophile.
I almost burned my mouth off. We have tea.
Yes. Well, I kind of warned you it was a little hot.
Oh, it's a lot hot. Yep. My bad.
Rape is about power and not about sex. So if we're going to discuss raping children as opposed to raping women, what we have to discuss is what kind of power do you need to overpower a child?
Yeah.
What in your mind is so broken that you take a child and you practically emotionally snap them in half? Because you're supposed to be the protector. You're the man. You're the strong one. You're the one that, slays the dragon. You're the one that makes sure that, you save. That's what us girls were taught when we came up. This is my protector. My dad, my brother, my husband. My husband. What happens when my husband, not this man, turns into a child raper? So where does your mind go after that? Who do I trust then?
Yeah. I mean, think about this a second. I mean, these are people who actively go hunting and abusing children. Children. This is something, with the current situation going on. Hello, like right over our shoulders. Yeah, I mean, they keep referring to these people as women. Yeah, they're women now, but they were children.
13, 14, 15.
They were abused children. I mean, think about that a second. And anybody who thinks that, who even so much as intimates that that's okay, I have a problem with. I mean, I think most normal adults would have a problem with.
I'm a parent, so I have a problem with it. I have a problem with anybody being forced to do anything against their will. And as a child, it's even more difficult to tell an adult no. So at this point, you may as well be the heavyweight boxer of the world going into an infant's crib and beating the crap out of them. Same difference. I know that's a horrible analogy, but that's the way I see it. A child looked up to you and you took their trust and spit in their face and did your horrible deeds on them, and then you turn around and expect them to trust the male sex.
I mean, think about at least many of the stories that we've heard. Not only were they trusting, these were young girls looking for a job.
Right.
They were looking to try and better their lives.
And they focused on girls that came from troubled homes. And that was one of the things. They focused on them because they knew they needed money. I mean, these kids thought, now I can probably get the nice shoes that my parents can't afford, or a coat, a new coat, or some kind of whatever it was to make their lives a little bit better. And they knew that. These rich men, and just think about this too. These young girls walked into the island or wherever this was in Florida or wherever they were being, preyed upon. And they saw famous men that they'd only seen on television.
Yep.
Men that they never thought in their entire lives that they would ever meet in person. And they thought, oh, wow, this is going to be great. I'm going to give him a massage. I'm going to make a little money and maybe get an autograph. No.
No.
That was not what happened. So they saw these famous men, And these men knew that they could take advantage of them. And that's exactly what they did.
Oh, yeah. Just to as we get further into this, what do you think about the so-called files that have been released up until this point, just a couple days ago?
Oh, excuse me, I have something in my eye. I have to tell you that I never thought they were going to release anything, so I'm really shocked.
Well, they released blank pieces of paper, blackened out pieces of paper.
That's more than I thought that they would release.
That's
because
true.
From what I saw today, 1,000, they said, 1,000 images have been taken out. So I, being the inquisitive person, I'm like, well, who do they want to protect the most? So those 1,000 images must be of, what is it, prisoner number one, or what was that person referred to as?
Subject number one,
yes,
I think.
Subject number one. So if that many images have been redacted, then obviously the person who has access to it and the person that has the most power probably are the person that those are their pictures, is what I'm assuming.
That and their buddies.
And their buddies.
For the people that got blackmail going. Let's talk about it. Blackmail, fleecing, quid pro quo, throw out anything you want. But there's money flying around behind the scenes on all of this.
Well, I did a little research into Jeffrey Epstein's brother. And Jeffrey Epstein told his brother that he didn't think he was going to live anyway because he had too much information on a lot of wealthy people.
Yeah, too much dirt.
But ironically enough, he knew that's what he was doing the whole time. And when you go to bed with snakes, what do you expect to happen? Honestly, because you are selling children to these wealthy billionaires, and I mean selling them. You're giving the little girl $300, but over here you've just sold her to a multi-billionaire for $2-3 million, her virginity or what else.
Oh yeah, yeah,
right?
You know that was going down for sure.
So his bank accounts, from my understanding, Jeffrey Epstein was wealthy, and he was doing this daily. From the island, from Florida, anywhere that he had enough money and influence so that he could buy the cops or whatever, because that's what it seemed like, that he got a slap on the wrist in Florida.
Yeah.
And maybe in New York too. I don't know. I don't think New York.
No, I think it was a slap on the wrist.
It was in Florida. But so here you have this man that is making money hand over fist, and he thought, now, this is the stupid thing. He thought that if he had all this information on them, that it made him safe.
Yeah, protect him.
But that is a double-edged sword. You're dealing with people that have way more money than he did, right? Than Epstein did.
Yeah, a lot
and
more.
And way more influence than Epstein did,
a
too.
Lot more. Yeah.
Yes. And so there he thought that he was safe because he could use it against them, but somehow it just went over his head that they could hurt him. That just blows my head back. I'm like, don't you understand these people got in these positions of power because of who they knew and what they could get around? But that's neither here nor there, because he's dead. And the only good thing about this situation is that there's no statute of limitations on murder. So Jeffrey Epstein's brother believes that his brother was murdered. And if
I believe that too.
I do too. And if somebody were to open up an investigation, like I said, regardless of who did it, there's no statute of limitations on murder. So
yeah, no, they can investigate this for the next 50 years.
That's right. So we are... they released some images of some of the things that were going on in that house.
Disturbing images. Yeah. We're not exactly sure. Obviously we don't know who for certain, with who, with which girls or whatever, but they did release some pictures of some of the toys. I mean, I guess you could call them toys. I guess that's probably what they refer to them as toys. But the number one item, the most obvious item, was the jawbreaker gag.
I'm not young. And I literally had to use my computer to look this stuff up because I did not know what this stuff was. I had no clue. I'm asking him, what is this? What is this? And of course, the first thing that popped into my mind was this poor child. A child, these poor girls, these poor children. And they used these instruments of torture on these kids. And I was mortified. One after the other, this jawbreaker gag had the warning that they could choke to death. And I'm like, you have to do this to a child to get sexually aroused? You're sick. You're vile. You're evil. I'm done.
A jawbreaker gag, by the way, jawbreaker, I mean, break is never really a good word when you want to use that in conjunction with a human being, but that's a 14th century torture device. If you go and you do some digging, I mean, this is an actual honest-to-goodness torture device. So how this somehow translated into some sexual tool, I'll never understand. And to your point, I would like to echo my disgust in if this is what you need to do to get your jollies with children, I've got nothing for you.
And we also looked up this jawbreaker gag, and it was way back in the 16th century. They used it for...
So I just said the 14th century.
Oh, it was the 14th century.
It's a medieval torture device.
Yeah, but then they used it on slaves.
That's right. Yep. Yeah,
is what he told me after that. It was in the 16th century. They went from medieval torture to making slaves or to subdue them, to rape them or whatever.
Yeah.
And just think about this. A child with a gag in their mouth, screaming for their parents and looking for help.
Not able to scream. That's the point, I think. Disgusting.
Yeah. So that's not even an image I ever wanted to have, is what I'm saying. It's just the thought. I have children, of my child laying there begging to be released while somebody is debasing them, frankly, and they can't cry out. So, image number 2, there was a black glove with different textures on it. And I'd never seen anything like that. So, of course, we're back to Google. So my search engine looks pretty foul now, just telling you people. And frankly, I was a little embarrassed when I saw this. I'm like, what is this, right? And it was like this black plastic glove with each finger was like this different texture. And then it gives a description. Well, I'm trying to keep this PC, so you have these little tiny little girls, and they're using this horrible glove for insertion.
Yeah.
In little virgins and things like that.
Different ribbing and textures and bumps.
So you can use your imagination, because I was mortified.
Of course, right next to this gear, these different torture devices, are Trump condoms. Donald Trump condoms,
On the island.
On the island. I mean...
and for $4.50, you too can have a Trump condom.
Yeah, that's like super expensive. $4.50 for... And it probably didn't work either. It was like the steaks.
Is that expensive
Trump
for a condom?
University. Well... Back in those days, it would have been. I think $4.50 is probably closer.
What do you mean back in those days? This is just those photographs were 2019 or 2018.
I thought that particular photograph. No, I guess this would have been when the police. Yeah, but still, Trump condoms.
But he wasn't there.
But he wasn't there. Yeah. Yeah, I guess.
Anyway, we're just going to let that one just lay on your...
Yep.
Because I'm sure everybody's seen it already. There was also what they call shibari Japanese bondage ropes. So here you have a jawbreaker gag.
To keep them quiet.
A glove to debase, and bondage ropes. And these ropes go across the front, leaving certain areas exposed, but it puts the arms back and it pulls the shoulders back so you cannot use your arms. And it ties to your feet. It's like a hog tie. And
a hog tie for 12-year-old girls. I mean, so you've got them quiet with your jawbreaker gag. You're doing who knows what with the latex funky glove. And to wrap it all up, you've got them bound. So literally, you've got them bound and gagged, right?
Right.
Pretty straightforward, torture scene with 12, 13, 14, 15-year-old girls. And then, of course, Donald Trump's shining face on a package of condoms right next to all this.
And also the shibari Japanese bondage ropes, when I looked it up, they showed ways of hanging so that they wouldn't choke to death. But you can hang them with it. They showed them elevated and just like strapped up like a hog to the slaughter. I've never seen anything like that in my life. And of course, as a parent, these poor young girls who went through this deserve every amount of empathy that this world can give to them, because this is unimaginable to me what they went through.
You want to talk about someone who actually deserves a whole heaping helping of retribution?
These women, these girls do
need retribution.
We know you're women now, but we knew you were children.
That's right.
When all of this happened.
That's right.
I have to thank the Democratic Party for releasing these pictures, because, my imagination didn't go far enough. Not even close.
Yeah.
Nowhere near this. My imagination only saw this much of what happened to them. Now I'm getting the grand scheme of things as everyone else is. And I'm horrified at what you went through. And I understand. I would understand 100% if none of you had anything to do with men again in your lives.
Yep.
I would understand if you didn't even want to bear male children having gone through this.
Yep.
So that tells you that I get it. I totally get it.
Yeah, if others don't, we do.
Right. This is yours.
Oh, yes. Yeah. So, and that wasn't the final component, or not the final component, but one of the final components of the picture was a vaginal pump. Again, like Sandra said, the Google search engine is literally still coming down from shock. But
I don't care if they think
Again,
I'm a pervert now.
12, 13, 14, teenagers, girls, vaginal pump. I don't even need to explain that. I'm just going to let your own imaginations go with that. I just don't understand.
What they did was because these were children, had no clue of anything about sex. They, as I learned about the vaginal pump, they used it to try to arouse the children because they didn't know what sex was. So they did that to stimulate the child for themselves. That's what they did.
Unreal. All I can do is shake my head.
And in another picture was a long plastic rope with knots on it. So once again, my Google search, I'm asking him what the heck that was. Because the way it looked like it was something that they would use to beat them, just to whip them because it had knots in it. I thought that would just really, accent the abuse. And he goes, nope, that's not what that's for. So when I Googled it, it was a plastic anal rope. It wasn't to beat the children.
Yep.
It was to hurt them in another way.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say any more to that.
I mean, it's not bad. It's bad enough that they went to the traditional orifices, then they decided to just keep on going to the taboo orifices on little girls. Yeah. Can't keep saying that enough. Little girls, these are not women.
Children.
I am sick of listening to people refer to these people as women when they should children. Be talking as if they were still children, because this is what we're talking about here. Right. We're not talking about them being raped and abused in 2025. No, you need to go back 10, 15 years when they were children.
That's right.
Children.
That's right.
And I'm just going to put it out there. I don't care what your religion says. You have some of these places that say it's cool to be marrying off 16-year-olds.
No, it's not.
No, it's not. Not. We live in a what I would hope is a somewhat enlightened society. We still aren't rolling around in the medieval Middle Ages.
I was a 16-year-old girl one time, and the last thing I was thinking about was setting up house and marrying some old man, or even thinking about having sex with one. Yeah. So, no. And I'm speaking for other women. There might be some out there at 16-year-old that want to be married. But the majority of us don't. The majority of us want to mature naturally without having to be forced into a role that somebody else designed for us without asking.
I'm going to take a pretty decent stab at this. And if a girl isn't being pestered or pelted from the moment that she can speak and form words, and being told that this is her lot in life when she turns 16, I'm pretty certain that if she's able to grow up without anybody in her ear, she's not going to want to be married at 16.
This is correct.
This is all a manifestation of somebody's religion
or their nationalities. Sometimes nationalities decide that. Not always religion, but
that's true. I don't need those cultures around me either.
Why is it that we women on this planet are so put upon? And I'll explain. We bring forth life. That should be honor enough.
I would think
but
so.
It isn't. We are subjugated. We are belittled. We are raped. We are bullied. We're paid less. We're given less. And we're treated less than. I don't understand it. I have talked to men ad nauseum about this. And I'm like, you guys want your children. You want us to bear your children. But at the same time, not all of you. Some of you treat us like something stuck to the bottom of your shoe. Or worse, something to be used and discarded. I don't understand. how you can sit there and take your children from us and not honor the vessel that brought them. I don't get that. Sometimes it brings tears to my eyes when I watch the television and I hear how some men talk about us. We're fat, shut up, stupid. All of these things, shouldn't be educated, but yet you want a child out of us. Now, wait a minute.
Blows me away.
You want us to bear your children, but we're fat, we're stupid. Don't you think that's what's going to happen to your child? Where do you think the brain comes from? Just falls out of the sky? No. We create that for you, with you. So if I'm so useless, don't ask me for children. Don't ask any woman for children.
Nope.
Bring it forth yourself. Because I'm just going to get on my soap opera here and say that 99% of all abuses, rapes, are committed by men. And I'll drop it to you.
Oh, yeah.
I'm off my soapbox, sorry. I just had to say that because lately we've been kicked in the teeth. We women have been kicked in the teeth.
Oh, yeah. I mean, look... I'm trying to avoid going down. Okay.
Well, let's stop. We'll go to number 7.
You know, and then the final, as if they really needed it, handcuffs, metal handcuffs were in the pictures as well. But I'm not sure you really needed those once you had her strung up with funky Japanese bondage ropes with a ball gag strapped around her head. Probably didn't need the metal handcuffs. I guess they wanted to make sure that the little girl couldn't run away from the nasty men.
That's why they took him on an island. You couldn't run anywhere. I mean, you were on an island.
Yeah.
Think about that. So even if you ran, there was nowhere to hide. And if you think about this entire situation, a situation of dominance, abuse, neglect, just immense emotional and physical harm to people that were already weaker than you. We were born weaker than you physically, not emotionally, but physically. What do you think the outcome? What do you think these women think, men? Because some of you men think that the minute that the sex act or abuse is over, that she's going to forget.
Yeah.
But what I want you to understand is every time somebody's hurt you, have you forgotten it the minute that it was over? Did you just get over it that instant? Did it just go away like a bad dream and you never revisited it again? Just think of the worst thing that has ever happened to you. And when it was over, was it poof, gone? I don't think so.
Well, no. Just ask Letitia James and...
That's exactly right.
Ask some of these people who...
Yeah, but is that the worst thing that happened to her? I'm talking about, what if somebody in your family was beaten?
I'm talking about, these people who feel like they can be on retribution tours.
Mm-hmm.
But they weren't raped. Mm-hmm. They did the raping.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
But I don't know. Interesting. I'm just
trying to open a door because we've got some little windows cracked around here. And the majority of the people that understand seem to be female. And there are men out there that get it too. But we get it even more. Because why? Every walk of our lives, somebody's always reminding us that we're female, that we have to look this way, that we must be beautiful at all times. We must watch our tone, and we have to empower men, make men feel, strong and virile. And meanwhile, I'm getting called a pig. I'm getting called ugly. I'm getting called old. I'm getting called all the things that men would never tolerate being called.
No.
So,
guarantee you of that one.
How would you understand? So that empowers you to harm because these children are available, or it's because you have the money to do it. Now you don't have to buy women anymore because women come to you, just, hey, he's a billionaire. I don't care what he looks like. I'm going to be with him.
That's the hit name for that.
So you can get any woman you want, right?
But yet you chose to go target and hunt little children.
But can you get little children? You know that's the forbidden fruit. But that's what's appealing about it, right? Because you can have any woman that you want, just about. There are women out there with morals and ethics. So you probably can't have any woman. But a child is forbidden fruit.
Deviant, nasty human beings.
So you can pose that to your family members. And you know what? Every family has dirty little secrets too. Uncle Charlie, and I don't know anybody named Uncle Charlie. I'm just throwing that name out there. Everybody knows dirty Uncle Larry. Don't sit on his lap, blah, 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 blah. But nobody turns him in. And then things like this come out and they go, hey, do you know anybody? Oh, no.
Oh, no. Or they turn them in, and I can't remember the name of the two women who turned these people in the FBI. Total blind eye. Just turn
the two, yeah.
I mean, a lot of these people turn police. The police, I guess, their time's better spent, racially profiling people and beating the crap out of people, pulling them out of cars and stuff, versus, actually hunting down rapists and stuff.
That's right.
This is what I'm seeing.
I think in a lot of ways,
off.
Well, if you look at history, most of the time the reason why men get away with raping is because they'll tell another man, oh, she's lying. And they will side with the man before they would side with the woman. And that happens more than not when it comes to rape. It's always his word against hers. And they always usually take the man. Well, they were drinking together and blah, 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 blah. Or she wore something. She was asking for it.
What is this she was asking for?
And the one that gets me the most
she was asking for it. Said no woman ever.
But the one that gets me the most is the one where we don't want to ruin his reputation.
Oh, joy.
Or his life.
Yeah.
But she gets to go home raped, maybe with an STD, gift that keeps giving, or a baby. So she has to make a decision what she has to do, but he gets to walk away because we don't want to ruin his reputation. Why would we do that to him? And that's why and of course, there's the fifth. He threatened to kill you and your family if you told. That's always good too, right?
Yep.
I'm going to kill you guys. I know where you live. I know your mother and your father, and I will kill you. So, we kind of foster, this is kind of our fault, because we're not locking people up. And we should lock people up.
Especially
and
the
so
rich
if they
ones.
get away with it this time, they'll do it again and again and again.
Yeah.
Why? Because they weren't stopped.
Yeah, your money shouldn't mean jack.
But it does.
To prison, straight with you. And to like a real prison. None of this club-fed stuff. No, I want you to fear for your lives every single time you step out of your cell.
Right.
Because that's what you deserve.
Right.
And, I'm just going to kind of close it at that.
But there's an element here of criminality. There's a lot
criminal.
of criminality is a high, right? How far can I go? Okay, I did this thing and I got away with it. How far can I go? I did this thing and this is why sometimes when you see people arrested, you see charge after charge after charge after charge after charge. Well, we only knew about the 2 charges. And then they start doing their investigation and it's like a litany of crimes that they committed. Why? Because each time they keep jumping the fence and going further and further and further.
Yep.
This is a subject that we could talk about
for
a
hours.
lot and for hours. My husband is going to listen here. And of course, I could talk about it for hours because it hurts my soul to see children so abused and ignored by our government because of powerful men. Ignored because they're not rich and can't afford expensive attorneys. Ignored because they weren't, at the right place at the wrong time, or whatever the reasons they're using to give them justice. I'm going to keep screaming their names until they get justice.
I'm going to look dead in the camera and I'm going to say, release the files. Shove this redacting. You people are so disingenuous that it's disgusting. But release the files.
Release the files. We know who's in them.
Yeah.
Come on. Everybody knows we're all like this.
We know all the victims. Hello, the victims are standing outside your front door.
No, we know all the criminals just about. I mean, I was only surprised by 2. The rest of them, I think we all know who's doing this. I mean, and to tell you the truth, we're not the only ones that have photographs. So there's a lot of photographs and there's a lot of evidence out there. And if Jeffrey Epstein was murdered, we can keep investigating because there's no statute of limitations on murder.
And he was murdered to protect some rich scumbag.
This is right.
Who yet again thinks that they're above the law because they have money. It just drives me nuts. Money, I don't know. Anyways.
He's right.
I'm going to go down
You
that
are
path
100%.
Spend another 20 minutes.
Christmas is coming, people.
So, anyhow.
Give us a kiss.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We're going to end this because this is really difficult for us. But we want to make sure that everyone understands that. I'm sure you get the impression and you know that we care. And if we can do anything to make sure that you guys get justice, we'll keep bringing it up until we don't have to anymore. And this has actually happened. So we're going to end this on A Mother and Father's Promise, the poems that I wrote, and a mother's promise to bring you forth as gently as possible, to comfort and protect you, to provide and nurture you. Love is my only tool.
A father's promise to be with you the minute you draw your first breath, to comfort and protect you, to provide and nurture you. Love is my only tool.
This is the Public Service Show. And I'm Sandra.
And I'm Kirk, and you can reach us at thepublicservice.org.
Thank you.
Thank you.